Yeah. Good.
Okay. We made it. We're live on Facebook. Oh my God.
Woo!
Yay.
Woo!
Hi, everyone. We're here with Dr. Dane here, and we are really excited to be here on this live stream, Facebook Live. And we would like to present you our telecall coming up in a couple of weeks, I think, yeah. And it's about what a gentleman prefer. Guys, what do you have to say?
Oh, don't get me started. I'll be talking way over until the next hour. Gentlemen. Okay, so can we just say it's like, what does a gentleman prefer? And one of the things about these four guys, or the five of us, I guess I would say, that there's a difference in the way that these guys are in the world than most of the men that you will meet and most of the men you have met. And they truly embody the aspects of being a gentleman. And what are the aspects of being a gentleman? The aspects of being a gentleman are, there's actually a potency there, a presence. There's a space of non-judgment. There's a space of not needing to be right, not needing to make other people wrong, not needing to use force against anyone to create a result, unless it's absolutely necessary as a last resort. And then there's the willingness that's there. But there's also this person that actually likes the man looking back at them in the mirror. And I want to also say, this conversation is not exclusive of ladies. It's not just for guys. It's not that masculine power thing where, oh my God, no. This is the opposite. This is an inclusive conversation, because we're all beings. Some of us have male bodies, some of us have female bodies, but we're all people living on this planet who have things that we would like and things that we have been successful at, things that we haven't, and ways that we would like to be greater. And so what we wanted to do in getting together is give you some different perspectives. You know, we won't be harassing you like I normally do, you know, for over an hour. We won't be doing that today. We're going to get in, get out, and kind of like no, I won't say it. It was a bad joke. I won't go there. I'll save that for another time.
We're not gonna mess up the hairdos.
Exactly. And I'm still not saying the joke. But you know, if you know the context, it's a pretty funny joke. But so guys, you guys have some just brilliance and beauty in your being, and some amazing information to share with people and contribution. So I want to hear what you guys know, and let's go for it.
For me, like, there is no definition of the gentleman, but what you wrote, like, really tapped into my world. Like, being a gentleman is being the greatest version of yourself, whatever it looks like for you. And I get it can't apply to lady, only gentleman. Huh? What do you think? But it's like, yeah, when you are truly you, being you into the world, and with all your pushing down your barriers and wall, being that vulnerability, it's like being that invitation for other people to choose. And when you ask us with Simon, Gary, and Brendan to create those class, it was like a big yes, you know, like excitation, of course, and like, okay, how can we do that and stuff? And it just, the four of us, like every time we did an interview before the first class in April, every time we was all the four of us together, it was creating an energy that never been there before, I'm pretty sure of it. And it was really funny because when we do the first class, we say, okay, we will, because we are for people from different parts of the world and for gentlemen. And it was like, okay, we can go all together in Nusa. So in April, there was a relationship done different facilitated by Brendan and Simon. And we say, okay, let's do that after that class. And we say, let's do the four of us. And after that, everyone can do it on our own, of course. And after the first intro we made, we was just, oh my God, it was so good to be the four of us together that we didn't do the 2 days class yet. And we already knew that we want to be doing that together again and again and again. And after that, we get the 2 days class and it was amazing. We get amazing feedback from people and from girls and men, women. It's like, oh yeah, you change your world. And it was like, oh my God, it's so fun. And it was so contributing for us too, that we decided to do other class. So we will be in London and Sao Paulo and what else is possible with that. And
Okay.
but really, like, being yourself is great.
Well, you guys, the four of you being together, change the energy of whoever walks into the room. And a lot of people probably don't know, and I didn't realize this until I heard you start talking, but basically after writing the Return of the Gentleman book, and Gary wrote the Gentleman's Club, and having people come to us and go, hey, this is a conversation that is helping so much, you know, and ladies would come and say, well, after reading these books, it's like I have been married for 6 years to my husband, and I feel like he disappeared somewhere along the way. And I feel like I got my husband back after he started using the tools and started reading this. And what we wanted to create was, what we were looking for is some guys who actually embodied this idea of truly being a gentleman. And, you know, we've talked about some of the aspects of it, but that could bring this conversation to both men and women, gentlemen and ladies, and be that space with who they are as their being, that somehow you just change when you're in their presence. And I know it sounds like a weird thing. It sounds too easy. Oh, well, I go around you and I change. But I mean, look at it. There's like these friggin' gurus who you sit in the room with them and you feel different after, and you go, oh, thank you, great guru. And I mean, but this is not that. This is this really heartfelt conversation, this vulnerable conversation about different possibilities for how we can be, because you four guys just are it somehow, and just are this space and this energy. And so, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, we talk about the classes that you've done, and I know some of the people that were there, and perceive how they changed, and how I'd say one of the biggest things that occurred, two things, is they got kinder to themselves and their partner, and they also came out of the wrongness of them, and both male and female. And they also started having this gratitude for being alive. And the thing is, it's like, so I wanted to give a little of the background where Gary, Simone, and Brennan and I asked these guys, like, hey, would you like to do this? Because we need people bringing this to the world, and that's what these guys are doing. And we wanted to do this Facebook Live so we could give you some stuff, give you some tools, give you some different perspectives on, and we call it, you know, what a gentleman likes, or what does a gentleman like, or something, which I think is awesome. And it's also, once again, it's not exclusive of ladies, but I'd like to ask you guys, okay, so on this particular topic, on this particular conversation about what a gentleman likes, like what is actually true for you in this area that's different than the way people see most guys? And I'm gonna just I'm apparently stepping into the moderator role now. Okay. Yeah, I know. I like to take charge, just like a lady. You're welcome. So I'm just gonna go along the line in the screen. Okay. So Romain talks. Sul, what, like, go for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I mean, something that you said to us just before we hopped on this call was like, guys, you know, you've got this like subdued energy of like, where it's like everything around you will like react to that, but it's like you're not having that presence with yourself and choosing and being the energy that you actually are. And it's like, that's something for me with this, that it's like a lot of ladies don't actually know what a gentleman desires or what a gentleman prefers. And so it's like, you know, we're taught, I guess, as men to you know, fulfill all of the needs, requirements, and desires of you know, the people around us. And like, this is a really different conversation in like looking at what would we like to choose and what would we like to create. And yeah, so like for me, that aggressive presence with myself, and actually looking at, okay, if I'm not just trying to fulfill what everyone else requires and desires, what's actually true for me? What would I actually like to choose, and what would I actually like to create?
So if we're doing a class with you guys, is part of the class getting people to what would you like to choose? What would you like, getting them to the awareness? Because so many things that we do are, you come into class or come into whatever to change something, and they're like, well, do this and do this and do this and do this. I know we're not like that, right? So is it more than about giving the gentlemen and ladies in the class, asking them some questions, do some processing in that, on actually getting them to the awareness of what they desire?
Yeah, and it also seems like there is this like just really strange miscommunication of like what women think that men want and what men think that women want. And like what we talked a lot about in the first 2-day class was a lot about like the relationships between men and women, and like how they're created, and like how a man functions and how a woman functions. And it's like, this is information that it can seem so obvious when it's said, but it's like so many of us don't actually have access to that information. And it can be a huge like freedom in your life to not be functioning from like unawareness in the area of like, okay, so like, you know, what's actually going on for this person? Where are they functioning from? And like, how can I actually use that to start to facilitate them seeing how they can also use like what they're choosing and what their partner's choosing, or the family and the friends in their life, to create something different.
Cool. Okay, so I'm also happy, and thank you for that, because that's the thing, is like, you can get to what's going on that's messing you up, and then you can actually get some help getting past that to what's actually true for you, and then have some support energetically in choosing it. But also being in the room with you guys, or being on whatever, Zoom or whatever, it's like, if somebody would allow it, there's an energy and there's a space that you guys are, that just being in the energy, being the space that you are. And I hate to sound so airy-fairy, but we have so few people that are truly being them, and being that thing that empowers other people. And I know for myself, like being in a room with you guys, it feels like, where no matter how you walk into the room, it feels like what happens is you get this, and telecall, whatever interaction that creates that. And so there's a being, there's the words, there's the processing to change things, but there's just this massive space of allowance where you get out of the wrongness and start to see what's actually true for you, get out of the lies and start to see what's true for you. And personally, I would like to thank you guys for that. And I would also like to, if somebody's watching a Facebook Live right now, I would also like to go, okay, so what can we give people? What contribution can we be to them, in addition to getting them to start questioning? What contribution can we be to them that will start changing some shit right now? Because let's face it, we got a lot of shit we want to change. Let's fucking change some shit. I mean, if we're going to be on together, we might as well change some shit. So I know I took over moderator role, but I tend to do that. I tend to be willing to take over anything. Oh, well, what a gentleman. Hello. Mark, Hannes, who's next?
Look, I'm going to jump the Okay. I'm going to jump the queue. I'm going to be not a pushy. I'm going to take on a gentlemanly role as well. And can I just start by saying, when we were talking about getting this call going, about a gentleman prefers a lady and this type of stuff, there is a couple of comments that one lady wrote, "Don't gentlemen prefer porn stars? There is no separation here. Everyone is welcome on our calls, ladies, porn stars. whatever your vocation. Okay, so I just wanted to clear that up first. So you're all in.
Thank you.
Pleasure. But look, I have totally forgotten what you were. If you asked me a question, then Dane, that's something which is happening a little bit more often with me these days.
That's called following the energy. Forget my question. Just go for it.
Exactly. What I've found from doing a couple of these classes now is that a lot of guys, and when I've done it, I've referred to the Aussie bloke and all this sort of stuff. But after being in Europe at the moment and seeing on the weekend, a lot of guys are still functioning from this space of, as it says in the book, should and supposed, how you're supposed to act, how you should act, taking on that role of whether it be the alpha male, the loud guy in the room, the chest puffer, or the role of provider. And then other than those two roles, I'm finding from feedback which I've had and myself in the past, and that a lot of guys don't really think they've got any other choice than those two roles. And I've found through, doing classes, being in classes with Dane, with you other boys, and every time we catch up, it's a space of allowance. It's a space of going back to that other book, Being You. It's that fact of just, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how you're supposed to act, from family, from friends, from whoever it is. You showing up as you and being that space and an allowance of whoever else is in the room. It's man, if you could bottle that shit or put it in a pill, no one would be writing books. We'd all be, So that's just what I get. It's an allowance. It's a space. It's a no judgment arena, or I don't know what it is, but it's an invitation to turn up however you want, no matter whose feet you're going to step on, no matter what it is, you being you, and enjoying the man looking at himself in the mirror each morning, as well as I'll drop as many quotes from the book as I can during this as well. So that's sort of it. Wake up, look at that person standing in the mirror, or when you're cruising past the shop window, like, have that look and just be grateful for who you are, and whatever you did yesterday or an hour ago, it doesn't matter. There's always that next choice where we can be the greatness which we truly are. So
that was friggin' awesome. So I'm going to give everybody a tool. It's going to sound very simple. Write down 3 things you're grateful for right now, and then 3 things you're grateful for about you, and then do it every day for the rest of your life. That's all. No big deal. Or you could do it for the next 4 days. Okay, I'm just putting out a random number. Just because one of the things I found is it's like having that conversation, and the brilliance of that with what you just said, Mark, that's it. It's just, yes, that. And then the people out there like, yes, that. And then it's like, well, how do I get there? Well, I just gave you like tool number 1A out of 8,000, but at least it's a place to start. And this is the thing, is like, in some of these conversations that you have with these guys, it's like you get underneath things that you didn't even realize were there, and it just sounds like a conversation. And then you hear it, you get to this thing that's been stuck like a big friggin' black hole underneath the rest of everything else that feels like it keeps going, pull on you. And it changes, and then your life is different. It's really why all of us do this, is for that friggin' thing that Mark was talking about. Dude, liking yourself, what a gift. And once again, male or female, doesn't matter. But just, you have boy bodies and girl bodies, but okay, fine. We have different points of view, but we buy all those points of view. And so what is actually true for us that we've never gotten to?
And yeah, and liking the man or the woman that looks out from the mirror, is it always easy? No, but just start to do it. And what I also like about the four of us is, normally if a man and another man comes together, there's this sense of there has to be a competition. But what I see between the four of us, if we are together or if we are facilitating a class, there's no sense of competition. And that's so great. And what would it take that we could bring this sense of you don't have to be in competition with a man if you want to be a man, out into the world? What would it take?
And and all the other guys know that women don't do that, just men. There's no competition among women. Like when a woman sees another woman that she judges as sexier or more available, she doesn't compete and pull out her claws and try to scratch her eyes out or anything. This just occurs with men. Kidding. Okay. So this is also it's such part of the beautiful gift that having you guys just be around. It's like it starts to infuse into your world as a possibility. And I so agree with you. What would be possible? What would be possible if we embrace that? Because your point of view creates your reality. And when you've grown up with a point of view that men compete, women compete, whoever, and you have to compete for men or you have to compete for women or whatever it is, you live that shit and it's just shit. And most of the time it's not even yours and you can let it go. Mm. So back to what you were saying, Hannes, I apologize for interrupting, but it's just so vital, I think, that we get this awareness.
Yeah, and what you also wrote in the book, or also Gary wrote, it all starts to liking the man that you are, or the woman that you are, and just by being you, if you are really you and you do what you like, and I also had the temptation, I think it's called, to cut part of myself to fit into the reality of a woman, and to think, okay, if I cut part of myself, then this woman will like me more, yeah, and this doesn't work. And what happened was that I felt bad, and don't do it.
I just love you just stated it so perfectly. This doesn't work. It's like, don't do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to just sort of go on from what Hannes was saying, then, I mean, we talk about these elements of a gentleman, kindness, caring, vulnerability, and all that type of thing. That doesn't mean that you're a doormat and you're just everyone's,
walking on your head whenever they want to.
Let's go with that one. Totally. You're allowed to be strong. You're allowed to, I've said it a few times with things. I played football over the years in Australia and I loved every second of it. And it's not, it wasn't the thing where I'm a gentleman. I still can't stand my ground or something like that. And honor myself, and from the point of view and honor your gentlemen and your brothers, or whoever your pack is, so to speak. Like I said it before, and this is just me. So I played football, and if something went on in the field, then I was there with the boys. You're not a doormat.
Some heads when it was appropriate.
Well, and got cracked. I will say that too. But you were you, whatever that looks like. Like sometimes I try and keep things really simple, and being you, whatever that looks like, do it. Signing off, Mark. Like.
I love this. This is a gentleman's conversation. Simple.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I qualify in this category because simple is not my forte, but I love that. Being you, whatever it takes, do it. This thing, don't do it. Okay, enough said. Okay, go live your life. Bye-bye. Okay, you know, if the complexity comes in all the weird, insane shit people have about not that, and I think that's also part of the gift of having the conversation, but also having the access tools to be able to go, okay, being you, not doing it. Okay, how do I get to do it? You know, and that's also where part of that change occurs. It's also where a lot of the change occurs. It's like both. It's this awareness of, and having guys who are like, yeah, I'm being me. Being, you know, here I am, warts and all. I got some cool shit. I got some fucked up shit going on. And I'm changing most of the fucked up shit. I don't have so much of that anymore, but here I am, warts and all. And I'm not perfect. And yes, you know, if you punch my friend, I'm gonna crack you in the head, or I'll get cracked in the whatever. You know, I'm so glad you said that thing about not being a doormat, because that's the other thing that occurs is a lot of guys are like, oh, I need to be a gentleman. And a gentleman, no, a gentleman still has testicles, okay? A gentleman has plenty of testosterone running through their body, and they're not a fucking doormat. They're not like, hey, walk all over me. They're like, hey, no, you don't get to do that shit. You know, they call bullshit on bullshit. So, and we have this weird friggin' thing in this world still where it's like, you're either a snag, a sensitive new age guy, a doormat for all those who want to walk all over you, or you're the alpha male. No, a gentleman is all of that shit and way more.
Exactly. And those 3 points of gratitude you spoke about, everyone's homework, will be giving Hannes's email address. So forward all your emails to Hannes.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Hannes. Appreciate you taking one for the team on that one. That's awesome. So Romain, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just, you know, in my directorial phase, which I am now over. Guys, let's just talk. What do people need to hear? What can we contribute that might make their lives easier? And
yeah, for me, like when Mark was talking and all of you guys were talking, I got my cheers because I was like, oh, I so much love those guys, and it's so good to be part of it. And it's like, you can be like, even ladies love bad guys, you know? It's like, what if you can be all of that? Like, it's not a definition. You can, at some day or some nights, I can be a very bad guy. And
wait. Maybe we need to hear more about that.
Oh.
And by the way, are you in the Matrix right now? Because you seriously remind me of, you know, when Neo was in the Matrix and it was on all white background. And can you, like, if you snapped your fingers, could you bring in a row of guns on either side and like do kung fu and shit?
What do you know? Who's Batman?
I know so much that I cannot divulge, because I could tell you and then I'd have to kill you all. So it's okay. So I won't say that. Okay, but other than the videos of what you do at night when this is happening, will you say more?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I mean, it wasn't with your sister when we did the Zoom. With your
wait.
sister. No, not that way, not that way.
Okay. Now, number one, I know you're married. Number two, you're bringing my sister into the conversation after I talk about what you do at night as a little more animalistic than how you show up in the day. Fucking pot.
Good time for the internet to drop out.
No. Exactly. No, that day I said something, and I truly trust that for a gentleman, for me, a ladies comes first.
Okay.
You wanted to hear it. I said it. You asked for it.
I love it, and I like how you somehow have the point of view that was too risque. I'm like, okay, all right. Can I just say that I tend to concur with that point of view? And anyway, there's another element, right? If we look at this thing about Saxon copulation, because it's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about. And then some people go into it in this like very direct way, but it's more about proving that I can do this and have this conversation. But really, it's something that really is really awesome, or it should be. And a gentleman tends to like to really enjoy a lady's body and have his body enjoyed also, and contribute and receive, and fucking awesome and very intense sometimes, and very gentle and nurturing and loving. And I would say very caring the whole time, no matter what's going on. And I think that's a bit of the difference with a gentleman, is a gentleman can be very intense, but also very present and very caring. It's not about an abusive thing. It's about an honoring and a presence and a caring and a different energy with people than most people are willing to have. So anyway, you went there, I went there, but go ahead.
Can I say something on that? Like,
please.
For me, like with the energies of like sexualness and receiving, like, and you know, having sex and everything, like for me, I guess that was always like something that I'd defined as like a female energy or something. And so it was like I had to hide that, like enjoying my body and enjoying like having someone touch my body. And it's like something that I really have gotten a lot from like watching, you know, you as well, Dane, and Gary, is like being the potency, but also having that energy of like of receiving, like you know, the contribution that someone can be to you, and just to enjoy to be touched and not make it wrong, but have that as part of who you are and what you can have.
I love that. And also not we have this weird, we live in a fucked up world, okay? Can we just say that? We have this idea that receiving is feminine and giving is masculine. Excuse me, men should be equally as adept at receiving. Women should be equally as adept at gifting. And I'm talking in every area, energetically, physically. It's like we act like somehow indoor plumbing and outdoor plumbing somehow makes you a different person, but it doesn't. It's like you got, you know, you have a taco or a sausage. Okay, fine. Like, what the fuck does that matter? I eat German, I eat Mexican. I am Mexican, I am German. What? We're friggin' people on this friggin' planet. All this shit about masculine and feminine, 99% of it is bullshit designed to create separation that should not be there. But we buy the bullshit and do the separation. And then those guys that don't want to be like other guys end up becoming doormats and snags. And then, and because we don't want to perpetrate mean things against women, and we're more connected with what is called feminine energy. But what if it's not feminine and masculine energy? What if it's just fucking energy? What if it's energy we all have available, but we love to define things? Oh, it's feminine. Oh, it's masculine or whatever. And part of the thing, like you said, Soul, is like, you know, I defined receiving as, you know, something, and enjoying having my body touch and what is female. And it's like, I did too. And I think a lot of us have at some point, and part of this conversation is coming out of that and having something like Soul going, hey, I realized it actually feels good. Shit, who knew? You know, it's like, what, bottom line, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, all of you, it feels good, or at least it should, especially if you're doing it with somebody who's not doing judgment. And even if you are doing it with somebody who's doing judgment, if you can find a way to, maybe that feels good too. I don't know. Maybe you like that, whatever. It's like, there's not a wrongness, and there's not a right and wrong point of view. And we keep trying to go there, and we friggin' judge the shit out of ourselves so much. And we judge away our receiving, we judge away our pleasure, we judge away having fun. So, okay. So I gotta do some clearing here. I love to talk, but seriously, let's change some shit. Okay, if you're watching, if you're still watching, I hope you're still watching. But if you've never heard of this, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, theclearingstatement.com, which explains the clearing statement that I'm about to do. But basically, it's one of the superpowered tools of access consciousness. If you've ever done any kind of personal development work and tried to change things, and you try to change it and you think about it and you do your thing and it never changes, you're really going to want to hear this and listen to it and use it, because this is one of the biggest developments, biggest upgrades in personal development that have occurred in the last 2,000 years. Okay. Ever since prayer was invented. No, just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Okay. So everything you've done to buy that there is a right and a wrong, a good and a bad, a male and a female, a masculine and a feminine, that is purely designed to get you to go into judgment of you and stay in judgment of you. Because if you're in judgment of you, you will not be too much. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And who did you buy the idea of the right man and the wrong man, and the right woman and the wrong woman, and the right male and the right female from? And who did you buy about the right sexual points of view and the wrong sexual points of view? And how many of those are not even yours, but they're stuck in your body, stuck in your life, and you're living them, and you're trying to resist them and trying to be them while trying not to be them while trying to be them, which makes it so you keep trying to do what's right and never what's wrong, and never being kind to you and having a clue what's actually true for you. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And all the lies you bought from your mom and your dad and your male friends and your female friends, about sex, about relationship, about marriage, about family, about good sex, about bad sex, about good men, about good women, about bad women. All the shit you bought that is not even yours, but you're still carrying it around because somebody filled your Santa's sack with shit and you got to carry Santa's sack around. That's a weird visual, carrying Santa's sack. Just forget it. Everything that is, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. And everything that makes you carry Santa's sack. You would think, yeah. Right and wrong, everything that doesn't allow you to laugh at everything I say. Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, sorry, I just needed to change some stuff, because it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to let that conversation bring up stuff that could be different and change it so it can finally be different. So, gentlemen, what else you got?
Yeah, it's like, you know, what's coming from the first class was, and it's pretty common in many classes, it's like, you want to acknowledge that you are the valuable product of your life. You don't need to put anyone on pedestal. It's like, you are the gift to this world, and you really want to acknowledge that and to make choice for you to be really you, and whatever it looks like.
Yeah, whatever the hell that is. And it's not going to look like anybody else's choice to be them.
And another thing with
invitation.
Yes, with these classes, which we've really been looking at, because Saul, Romain, myself, Hannes is still in denial. We all have children, girls, boys, whatever. So it's also a space of you know, raising the next generation of gentlemen. You know, Romain and Saul have boys. I've got a daughter. You know, I want her to know what a gentleman is. I want her to know how she should be treated, and what her value is, and yeah, that's mainly it. Know what she deserves, and what's her right on what a gentleman is in this world, and you know what that can create, because we all know you've only got to, not that I really read newspapers anymore, but you can't generally get away from the shit of how much crap is going on there with abuse of men and women and this type of thing. So, you know, everyone always talks about education. Yes, education, and it's a choice, and it's an allowance of, hey, whatever your role model may have been, whether it was your dad or how your mum was, is that there's more available to you, and there's more greatness if maybe when you're a little bit younger, if you do have that role model of someone who is willing to be an allowance and acknowledge the gift you are and show you what's actually possible and how to be treated by whether it's the opposite sex or the same sex. So yes, return of the gentleman, ladies are welcome, but also raising the next generation. So
vital. I am with you. Vital. Somebody else have something to say? Okay, so we titled this "What a Gentleman Would Like." What a gentleman desires. I don't remember the freaking title. Something like that. What does a gentleman prefer? Okay, so in a mate or let's say in a mate or a relationship of that sort, I'm going to ask you guys your top 3. Okay, what you prefer. I know it's a very open-ended question, and believe me, there are right answers and there are wrong answers. So make sure to give me some right answers for the people watching and listening. Okay. Oh God, just kidding. Okay. Top 3 things that you look for in a mate or a person to be with on that level. Who's first? Nobody.
Hannes.
Hannes reckons his microphone's not working.
It's because he's in a box.
Mm.
So go for it, Mark.
You're a piece of work, Frenchie.
No?
Anyway, here he is.
Yeah. Okay. So what I am looking for is that, for example, if I'm together with a woman, that the woman is not my slave. I mean, it sounds a little bit tricky, but you know that she is what she is, and she doesn't. Well, what I said before, that she doesn't cut part of herself to fit into my reality. That's annoying for me. Yeah. That's not.
That's one. What are the other 2?
The other 2 is that I can be what I am, yeah, and that I don't have to fit into her world, yeah, and the third one is that that we can create together much more than I can create alone. Yeah.
Cool. Good answer on short notice, my friend.
Yeah. Who's next?
I'll go. One of the main things for me is like being able to have space and being able to have a sense of space, like with another person as well, like not having to always, fill it in with like small talk or like, yeah, for me, I guess I just like to just be able to be there and like, yeah, not have to try and like be something that I'm not, but just be me and have that sense of space and have them be like included in that space. But yeah, that's one thing. And being able to do whatever like you would like to do and have them being able to do whatever they would like to do, like you were saying, Hannes, like that they also have a life and that they're like creating and excited about what they're creating, and that they can also be like an inspiration for you to choose more and be more. And the other thing for me is my favorite page in the manual. I don't know which page it is, but
26.
26.
26, page 26. Yeah, sex. I really enjoy it, and I like it to taste good and feel good, and so yeah, having fun, enjoying your bodies, and yeah, that's my.
So they have to actually. So number 3 is they have to actually like sex. Okay,
sure.
that's not a bad and wrong thing to ask for. Okay, And let me tell you, the way it works with the whole sex thing is you have to find somebody who's sexually compatible. Like if you like to have it 27 times a day, you want to find somebody who likes it 27 times a day, and then that works. Or maybe they only like to have it 24 times a day, and that still works, okay? Somebody in the similar compatibility range. But look at, even going to ask for that, we as gentlemen are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that or something. No, bullshit. You should be able to ask for that. You should be able to desire that. But if you look at, for every concept of this reality that we have, there's a way of looking at it from a space of consciousness that is actually expansive, creative, and contributory to everybody involved. And so, but in this reality, we have Me Too, and especially gentlemen are looking at that horrified, as probably angrier than many of the women are, because it's being done in our name, all that shit of the Me Too movement, you know, where guys are doing this to women, and that is so not who we are, but we're being blamed for it. And it's like, because I have a penis, I'm somehow a molester now. What the fuck are you talking about? This is bullshit. So even the idea that we might want to like sex, enjoy sex, ask for sex, be willing to have it on our list of things we would actually like in a relationship seems wrong. That's fucked up, okay? Because there are a lot of women that really like sex, and they feel like they can't ask for it either because they're not a prude if they like sex. Then they're a slut, and so there's this whole judgment associated with that. So guys have their judgments. I'm a bad man if I like sex. Women have their judgments. I'm a slut if I like sex. And where are two people who actually like sex? By the way, the people that usually like sex tend to have less judgment than most other people. But the people who don't like sex have so much judgment, they think they're right for not liking sex. Are you fucking kidding me? This is talk about a recipe for confusion. So here we are trying to bring some clarity to this. And when you talk about, you know, yeah, playing with bodies, yeah, you won't even mention the word sex. You're like, and when we say what page in the manual, all you guys go, 26, 26, page 26. And I'm not going to say sex, but if you put 2 and 6 together, it sounds like too much sex. Okay, yes, that's why it's on 26. It's too much sex. You know what I mean? And so we've got to use code words to even acknowledge we would like to copulate with somebody. That's bullshit. So this is an insane world that we are trying to make a slight dent in the insanity to bring some sanity. And what we found is the sanity that occurs is when you get out of trying to fit in the box of right and the box of wrong and thinking you're wrong and trying to be right, male and female, and where you go, oh, what's actually true for me? Oh, do I like sex? Oh, cool. Do I like sex as much as I thought I did? Oh, I like it more. Or do I like sex? Oh, well, no, not so much. Cool. That's not wrong. Find somebody where you're compatible in that area, and then it's great. If you only want to have sex once every 6 months and the other person does, cool, good for you. If you want to have sex 27 times a day and your partner wants to have sex once every 6 months, that isn't going to work very well. And guess who's going to be wrong? The one who wants to have sex more. Why? Because that's the way this reality is set up. Like I said, for every concept of this reality, it's got all these setups in it where you can have multiple choices of being wrong. Thanks for playing our game today on planet Earth, Bob. Let me just tell you how the rules work. You have 10 billion choices to be wrong and one choice to maybe possibly feel a little bit okay about yourself if you walk through the labyrinth and go through the matrix and go backwards through it each time, and then you might feel okay a little bit for a few minutes before you go back to wrongness. Thanks for playing the Earth game. And you're like, what the fuck? Okay. So it's like, why is one of those right and one of those wrong? Not just what works for you, but also when we're talking about this relationship thing, it's got to work for our partner too. So what we need to look for is somebody who's actually more compatible with us. So one of the things you want to ask for is a partner who's compatible sexually with you, compatible emotionally with you, compatible energetically with you, and somebody who's willing to explore avenues that you're willing to explore too without making each other wrong. Okay, sorry, I had to go on a bit of a rant about that because this is something I've seen so many hundreds of thousands of times. It's like, come on. We're not, guys, you're not wrong. And I say guys like you guys, but also guys and girls listening, you're not wrong for what you desire. Just stop trying to expect somebody else to desire what you do. Find somebody else who's compatible with what you desire, and then you won't feel wrong, they won't feel wrong, and shit will work. Oh my God, it's like rocket science. Okay, so I asked that question. We still have a couple more inputs, I believe, on the 3 things. And I have another Zoom I'm supposed to be on in 3 minutes. So I may leave you guys to continue. And okay, 2 minutes now. But okay, I'm gonna go to that one just a tiny bit late because I want to hear your answers. Who's next?
Me, because my computer's going flat and I've got to find the charger because we spoke so long. Allowance in a partner, that's a big thing for me. I've had relationships, obviously, where we always talk about cutting parts off, where I was like, anyway, allowance, gratitude for each other is right up there. The creation, someone who's a contribution and the creation, and to keep it quick, once again, which I like doing with most things, but not all things, the access mantra of all of life comes to me with ease, joy, glory, and licking.
Yay, we are now officially adding licking to the mantra. Thank you. That was awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, and for me, it's like allowing each other to be that sexualness. Like, it's not, you are, I ask question every time, even for men and women, oh, would that be fun to have sex with this man or this woman or whatever? It doesn't mean I have to choose it, but it completely changed my receiving parts. So being with my wife will allow me to be that sexualness and be, like Sul said, a cat, like can be a cat. And it's so fulfilling, and you're so training that muscle of receiving by doing that. And being that space is great. And yeah, allow each other to have space just for them. It's great. It's not true, I know, but everyone said a lot of things before me, so.
Good point. Okay, so what you do is you look at the person. So you're not going, oh my gosh, I want to go shag them. You look and go, okay, what would it be like to have sex with them? You allow yourself to receive the energy and allow that to be a contribution to your sexualness that you have in your body and with your wife.
Which will be a contribution to my relationship with myself and with my wife. And I doesn't have to choose to do something. It's just that receiving. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, and you're also not going, ooh, I'm gonna go shake that, I'm gonna go shake that. You go, okay, I'm gonna let this energy into my body and my life. And now that's something, if you come to the class or if you come on the telecall and you want more clarity on that, please ask, because that can sound to a lot of people like, and once again, what we're talking about is something that's here. And if you go to put it here, you're going to have to put it into a space of judgment in order to make it fit a judgeable reality. What we're talking about is actually a space where there's just a lot more available. It's just a lot more fun. Gentlemen, thank you for today. I'm sorry if I took over and was a controlling bitch, but I do that sometimes. All part of being a gentleman. Wouldn't it be nice if a gentleman could take a little more control sometimes? Oh, well, just a thought. And also, wouldn't it be nice if the ladies of the world, because there are a lot of ladies who have bought the lie that they're somehow powerless or powerless in the face of men. And what we as gentlemen want to say is, there is nothing powerless about you. You are potent. We see the potency, and a true gentleman loves the potency that a lady is and can be. And a true lady loves the potency that a gentleman is and can be. So I just wanted to throw that in at the end. Is there anything I'm missing? Oh, when is the telecall? What else is coming up that people need to know?
It's starting on the 12th of September, 1/2/12, and Houston time, 12 p.m.
Houston time, 12 p.m. Okay, that's 7, 6, or 8, depending on what part of Europe you're in. That's some other time in India. I have no idea. And some other much earlier time in Australia. There. Okay, we know.
Sarah shared the link into the comment, I guess, and it's thegents.club/telecall.
Cool. And what we want to do on that is get your, we want to contribute to you, what you desire. You send in questions, we read the questions, we give our unique perspective on what will contribute to you in getting what you desire, because you got a really unique group of gentlemen that are on this Facebook Live right now, and their perspectives on different things are just friggin' awesome, and just wow. So guys, I thank you all very much for undertaking this journey of bringing this to the world, and for being the gentleman that you are that makes this possible. And on that note, little brotherly love, you know, big high five, brotherly hug, you know, like, love you back. And without, you know, having to, you know, be the sensitive new age guy about it, I just have a lot of respect and admiration for you guys, and the fucking courage you have to go out in the world and have this conversation when you're, it's trying to open up a door that hasn't been opened before. Friggin' awesome. Thank you guys.
Merci, Dane.
Thank you. And thank you to Sarah for, I don't know what she does, but we're all here. Thank you, Sarah.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah. You're awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Dada, and we're here. Thanks, y'all, for watching.
See you
on the
soon.
telecall
Bye.
September 12th.
Bye.
Thanks, boys.
Bye.